All right, YouTube, Repo Man 64. I think I have the camera fixed to where everything looks normal. It looks backwards to me, but I think it's going to look normal to you, so that should work. Be less confusing today. All right, I want to talk on a subject that's been on the back of my mind for a long time, and I've gone over it with a few people. It's really hard to do this on your phone. I should have brought the computer in here. I've gone over this with several people in chat rooms talking about it and trying to think of a way to present it to where it benefits everyone, really. So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to present it. Let's see here. We know that there's a group of people looking forward to a rapture, a harpazo, a catching away. This catching away is a pulling us out of here at the last moment before something terrible happens. And we've been waiting for that. Wish I could enhance the screen. And we've been waiting for that moment for 2,000 years. This is what the teachers and preachers have taught us for over 2,000 years. And it's what we've looked forward to. So that group is right here. That group is called the bride. They are the church. Can you see that? I can't really, but this phone's small. So this group, we believe, is spoken of in Luke. This group gets caught up to the third heaven. They're called first fruits. Jesus was walking with the apostles, we believe, through a cornfield, and they were picking corn, and the Pharisees were upset because they were picking corn on the Sabbath. And Jesus said they're with the one that they were supposed to find to fulfill the Sabbath. So that's why they did that. We have another group. We know it exists. It talks about it in Revelations. The 144K. This group right here consists of, and I've heard so many people talking about this group that talks about this states, I'm part of the 144,000 because I'm going to stay, and we are we're grafted into the Jewish nation because we're Christians. And I think that's a slight mistake. The 144,000, as the Bible teaches, are male, virgin, Jewish. Okay? That are in Christ. 144,000 male Jewish virgins in Christ. They have at some point accepted Christ. When does that event take place? Near the rapture? I'm not 100% sure. Let me move this over. Maybe that'll be easier. I'm not 100% sure on when that happens. Still looking at that. We have another group. It's a really large group. These people are called, and we label it tribulation saints and act like we act like it's the worst thing to be, but this is a group that no man can count. It's a huge group, and it is not, they're saved. They are saved, okay? So we're going to call them saints of tribulation, okay? Rather than call them tribulation saints, we're going to call them saints of tribulation. They are the main harvest. We are harpazoed, snatched away just before imminent danger falls upon us. The saints of tribulation are gathered. They are gathered. They are harvested. Okay? So it's the main harvest. Main harvest. Luke, or the bride, goes up to the third heaven. You'll find this in 2 Corinthians. The saints of the tribulation are those that go into paradise. You'll read that also in 2 Corinthians. Then we have this final group. This is the threshing room floor. It's probably about the same size as the virgin males, Jewish males. These are the millennium reign. This is the millennium reign. These people reign. These people are not saved. This group of people is going to be married. They're going to have children. The curse will be lifted. There will be no pain while they have children. They'll live in there for 1,000 years. We will rule over them with a rod of iron. They will, at the end, Satan will be loosed, and they will have a choice. And that choice will be to follow Jesus, because Jesus is the only way to heaven. The only way to be in the presence of God himself, Almighty, is to accept Jesus. That is the only way. So the millennial reign. All right. Only two groups are going to heaven. The 144K stay here to work on this group right here, the saints of the tribulation. These male virgins are going to be running around telling, the Jewish male virgins are going to be running around telling the tribulation saints do not receive the mark. The millennial reign, they stay also. They don't go. But this group here goes to heaven. This group here goes to heaven. Okay? Now I've, let's see. Down here, now we have all these groups, right? And we're always arguing back and forth between the groups. There is no pre-tribulation rapture. You shouldn't do any work whatsoever to be saved. Back and forth, we go back and forth. And the Bible told us not to do that. The Bible said, do not argue amongst yourselves. You're supposed to help each other. What are we supposed to avoid more than anything? None of these people are dying. None of these people are going to that lake of fire. This is a lake of fire. Lake of fire. What's going to be thrown into the lake of fire? Well, we're going to see at the end of the millennial reign, after 1,000 years, we're going to see the earth thrown in there. We're going to see heaven thrown in there, the current heaven. And we're going to see Satan thrown in there. And we're going to see a third of the angels that fell with Satan. And what else? The wicked. As we go through our day, this is what's been setting on my heart more than anything, is this group wants to be called this group. This group wants to warn this group. This group doesn't believe this group. This group, they go back and forth between these three groups right here. But what should we be worried about more than anything? The lake of fire. That's what we should be worried about. We shouldn't be arguing amongst ourselves. I'm not going to sit here and tell you whether you're a bride or you're a tribulation saint. I only want to define it. Put anybody in that category. But what I do want to tell you is this down here is what we're supposed to be saving people from. That's what the Bible has told us to worry about. This is the death that the Bible talks about. Saints in the tribulation, they're going to die, but that is not the final destination. This is down here. What happens when we preach to these people down here? Oops, they come up here. They go up to one of these groups. Does it matter what group they're in? If you were in this group right now, if you were here, would you care what group you landed in up there? Would it be that important to you? Would you argue back and forth between the groups? No. We know these groups exist because the Bible tells us they do. We know they're up there. So, get another color. This group right here, one, harpazo. Let's see, this group right here, one, they're gathered. Okay? Can't really see that, can you? Let me get a different color. I think blue will be better. This group right here, number 2, they will get crowns and brilliant white robes. This group right here will get palm branches, and they will get washed white robes. This group right here, the bride, it escapes all these things. This group right here goes through tribulation, but they still go to heaven. We shouldn't discount this group so much, and we shouldn't be going, you shouldn't do that and you shouldn't do that. What if they're preparing themselves for the time of the tribulation, and they're doing exactly what their heart tells them they need to do, and we're over here telling them no? I think we might be making a mistake there. So, and I spoke with a gentleman last night in my Discord, and he believes that this the rapture of the tribulation saints will happen at the end of the 7 years. There's very good arguments to state that it could happen any time between 7 days after the church is taken away to 3.5 years at the midpoint to all the way at the end. And there's been some very good arguments on all 3 of those, which would tell me that it's perhaps possible that there are several, or maybe it's just one at the end. I'm not going to stick up with that one, so I don't know. But there's a possibility of 2 or more. Okay, possibility. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Whiteboards. All right. Now, the bride, number 4. The amount that consists of the bride. We know the 144,000. The Bible plainly says it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's 144,000 virgin Jewish males that have accepted Christ. The bride, it's the same thing. 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands upon thousands. Do they add up to 153 million? That was just the idea that I had. This group over here, number 4, it's a number no man can count. It's a huge, absolutely huge, astronomical number that will be saved, and we cannot pretend like this is not an important group and that we're the most important. We can't be going back and forth like that. What are we supposed to be doing? We are supposed to be worried about these people down here. When you go onto a YouTube channel and you're a Christian and you battle back and forth between other Christians over the subject matter of whether or not you should be doing something, which is true for this group, but is not true for this group, and you're arguing back and forth, you see what I'm doing here. We can't be doing that. We have to let the saints be the saints. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to define them or say, oh, I can tell by the way you're acting that you're a saint. I'm not doing that. There's a lot of confusion out there, but what should we be doing? Go onto a YouTube video. Go in there now. Find a dog riding a skateboard that has 8 million views and put in there Jesus Christ is coming soon. Go and post in there your favorite YouTuber that has come up with a near date and say, go watch this guy. They go watch Dr. Barry. They go watch Dr. Barry and see his love for the Bible and everything he's done in his latest video, and they don't go to accept the Lord on the information that he has, or Wackadoodle Samoan, Generation 2434, Chooch, your favorite YouTuber. Go in there and say, we just figured out that Jesus is coming back soon, and I would suggest that you go to this YouTube channel and watch it and post that in there. Instead of us going back and forth between these two, because what's true for them might not be true for us. What's true for us might not be true for them. And certainly the millennial reign, not many people even talk about that, but I've actually heard people say, no, I don't want to go to heaven. I want to stay here and inherit the earth. The meek inherit the earth. They stay. They don't go. They stay human. They stay having children. They stay working, sweat off their brow. It's a lot easier because now Jesus is in charge, and all these criminals that are running everything right now won't be in charge. It'll all run very smoothly under Jesus. But even though Jesus is ruling, you'll see the wickedness of man's heart at the end when Satan is loosed. The 144,000 have a job to do. They're not going to heaven. They're staying here. And God's worry, I'm telling you right now, God's worry for the saints, the tribulation saints, is huge. It is, how do I put it? It's a punishment not to go as a bride. But they're being tried by fire. They're being perfected through the fire. We can't discount them like they're no big deal. They are a group that no man can count. It's absolutely a huge group. I can't even begin to put a number on it. It tells me not to. It tells me it's so large that you can't count it. So we have to worry about these people down here. Down here, this is the trouble. This is the lake of fire. They're burning up down there if we don't do our job and warn these people down here. We need to stop up here. Worried about up here, and we need to focus on down here. Let me see, I had a few more points. Who's the bride? Leah and Barabbas. They're the bride. They didn't do anything. Leah was told by her father, go in there. You don't hear a peep out of Leah's mouth as going, hey, I'm the older one. I want to go in there. I should go in there, because it didn't happen. There was no conversations about that. Same thing with Barabbas. He didn't say a peep while he was up there. I checked all the Gospels. As a matter of fact, in the Gospel of Luke, it was stated 3 times to kill Jesus and save Barabbas. In the Gospel of Matthew, it was stated 1 time, and in the Gospel of Mark, to crucify Jesus and to save Barabbas 2 times, as well as the wife of I think it's Pontius Pilate. It would have been Pontius Pilate. I didn't write it down, but the wife of Pontius Pilate had dreams. It had been plaguing her all day not to do it. And she actually interceded and told her husband, don't do it, which is why you have all these different accounts of him asking not to do it. The 10 virgins. The 10 virgins, depart from me, for I knew you not. You have no oil. They're right here. They're going to be okay. They're going to wind up in heaven. They're going to be tried by fire, but they're going to be okay. They are still virgins, virgin brides. They still have lamps. 5 of them, and now remember, on all 10 of them, just to prove the point that this is all about Jesus and nothing about us and anything we've ever done. Let me push this back because I think I wrote enough on there. There we go. I get a little claustrophobic there. Just to prove that fact, all 10 virgins fell asleep. All of them. All 10. 5 already had oil in their lamps. 5 didn't. 5, remember what it says. 5, you must go out and you get oil for your lamps. They had work to do. When they came back, God said, depart from me, for I knew you not. Knew meaning an intimate thing, not like I don't know you and I'm sending you down here. No, I don't know you, so I'm going to try you with fire. They are Rachel. Rachel, the thief on the cross. Thief on the cross is going through tribulation. He's on the cross, but what does he do? He asks for forgiveness at the last minute. He does something. Walking out on the water, Peter he's out on the water. He takes his eyes off Jesus for a moment, and he begins to sink. Jesus reaches out and picks him up and says, "Oh, you have little faith," because he has work to do. He still has to walk through that water, but he must keep his eyes on Jesus through this period of time. 7 days, 3.5 years, 7 years. I don't know exactly how long. I'm still looking for better information on that. A lot of good discussions on either side. So, remember the millennium, threshing room floor. When it's all done, the harvest is done, the first fruits are picked, the main harvest is done. At the very end, they take all the chaff and all of you got the wheat, you've got I'm going to forget the word now, the other stuff that looks like wheat when it grows up with it. The only difference is, and the reason you can tell the difference is because the wheat will actually bow down when it's time for to be harvested. That's the difference. You can tell the difference between the wheat and the tares. There's the word, tares. So they put it all on the threshing room floor, and they gather it all up, and they run it one more time through the machine, and at that time, they take out the very little bit left, very tiny bit left, and that's the millennial reign. Those people go into the millennial reign, and they will have children and everything else. Let's see. The bride, no work whatsoever. We don't do anything. Absolutely nothing. We are, again, like I said before, Barabbas up there. You don't hear one recorded word out of Barabbas's mouth the entire time. He's up there with Pontius Pilate and Jesus. And I can imagine his heart must have been jumping out of his skin when Pontius Pilate asked 3 separate times. He's like, "Oh, wait a minute. He was a murderer. Nobody liked him." But they hated Jesus more than they liked him. Or hated Jesus more than they hated him. So anyway, I wanted to put this out there. I want to remind you. I want you to take a moment as we argue back and forth between the bride and the tribulation saint, and who's the 144,000, and who wants to inherit the earth. What's the worst thing that can happen? The absolute worst thing. This is what God told us to work on. He didn't tell us to stop them from being saints. Saints, he did not tell you to tell us that there is no pre-tribulation rapture. He didn't tell you to tell them, why do you want to inherit the earth? God's going to destroy it in 1,000 years anyway. They don't believe that. There's so many people. Go watch the dog and the skateboard. Not a single comment about Jesus whatsoever. There's so many people on this planet, 8 billion people. And what's going to wind up happening? We have a job to do. Please go into your YouTube and post in there. Jesus, we've proven it. We have absolutely proven it. Jesus is coming soon, and he is. And put in your favorite YouTube, link to go to a YouTube. Your favorite one, Chooch, Wackadoodle Simone, any of them. Put them in there and tell them, we're here at the end, and maybe, just maybe, we can pull souls out of there. That's our pot. That's what we're supposed to pull souls out of, not back and forth up here. So anyway, Repo Man 64. Like I said, I've talked to so many people about this concept that I'm saying here today, and I've been thinking about it for a very long time on how to present it in a fashion to where, how many times you're like upset because, oh, you're going to go, I'm saved because I did this and, I did that, and then you're not saved because you did this and you did that. But they're both faithful. They both believe on Jesus, 100%. Jesus is their anchor. Why are we arguing amongst ourselves? Save people from here, please. Go into YouTube and just find the biggest. This last thing that just happened with this. This guy, they're having a concert and you have to walk through his face or something to get in there. I'm older, so I'm not really into all that. And when you get in there, I guess they say that there was a stampede. I've seen too many videos on it. There was no stampede. People just dropped. They just absolutely dropped for no reason. So they're blaming it on everything other than what it actually is. So Repo Man 64. I did it. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I'll put a link to the Discord. We go into the voice chat sometimes, and then you'll see me in the voice chat over on Got a Minute there with Aaron. It's another one that I forgot to say. There's so many. Ken Potter. There's so many that you could link their video and get people. I don't even know where that came from. And get people who are down here. Work on these people down here. Get these people. Put a comment in there. Say, please come in here and watch this video. Your soul might depend. Just something. Be an advertiser. Get them to watch. Get them excited. Get them interested in your message. Give them a link to a video that it got you excited. And they might go in there, all right, let me see what this is all about. Click, and then go in there and, learn something about Jesus and salvation. Remember, go to a quiet place by yourself. Nobody needs to know. And you don't need to tell anybody. And ask the Lord into your heart. This rapture, Dr. Barry had some very compelling evidence, I believe, for the 21st. And so we watch. We're going to keep watching. That's what the bride does. We're locked away in a room. I'm locked away in this room. I don't know anything. I have no idea what's going on out there. I hear things. Was that a trumpet blast? Was that one? You hear things, and you're literally just, that's the only concern you have. That's it. So we'll chat with you later, YouTube.